Today we're going to talk about how to make a lyric video in DaVinci Resolve. Making lyric videos is a relatively straightforward process with DaVinci Resolve because of its powerful transcribe feature. This feature lets you have the program listen to a copy of your song, and it will transcribe the lyrics, put them on the timeline, and make them available for you to fine-tune and edit timing and word-wise. Now, in order to do this, you need the studio version of DaVinci Resolve, which is a paid version. But I feel this feature is worth the money, especially if you're doing multiple music videos. We've just opened up a new DaVinci Resolve blank project. We want to go to the edit window, which is that button. And now we have a blank project. First thing we want to do is bring in some media. So from the Finder, I will just drag the song we're going to be working on. And then again from the Finder, I have a bunch of random JPEGs. These are JPEGs I've used from another project. So start off, we want to drag from the media pool up here down into the timeline, and we've got a new clip, and this is the audio clip, the song that we're going to be working on. Next we go up to timeline, and we do create subtitles from audio, and it'll give us some options to set up. For now, we're just going to use the default, but language auto, it'll detect a language. You can actually tell it to look for a language, English. Caption preset, subtitle default, which is what you're going to want. Maximum 42 characters per line. I think that'll work. Line single for now. You can always make them whatever you want later. And gap between the subtitles. How many frames? I just leave it at 0. So create that, and it will start analyzing. First it initializes. Now it's going to analyze. That was pretty quick. And basically, we have at this point a list of all of our lyrics, and they should be pretty much in time, and we'll see where we start here. So basically what you have here is you've got your audio at the bottom on the audio track. You've got a track that's the subtitle track, and this is where DaVinci Resolve has put in the lines of the lyrics, and they changes in time to the music pretty much. And on this line we can edit anything we need to edit. You can see that the font is pretty small. We might want it larger. We might want a different font. We can deal with all this later. First we're going to make sure that it transcribed the lyrics correctly. Because it's singing, it's not so clear. It's taking a lot of wild stabs. But for the most part, it gets it really close. I've been really happy with the results. So we can listen along and see what we've got here. Now this is where the song singing is going to actually start. So we don't want the words on there till then. So you can see this little box with this line. It starts right from the beginning, so we're going to get rid of it. Basically just drag over to here, and now what'll happen is
she was a happy little thing when he first swept her off her feet.
Not bad. Let's see what the next line is like. Next set of lines.
Wasn't long before he left her crying on the floor, bruised and beat.
Okay, we have a few little problems here. Some of them are things that you might want to have happen differently, and there is a mistake in there. So let's see here.
It wasn't long before he left her crying on the floor.
Okay. It wasn't long before. That's where I would cut it. And the he should be in the next phrase. So we can change that easily. Select the little box with this line in it, and we'll go up here and we'll get rid of he. Then we'll go to the next box, and it's he left her. Let's do that here. And there you go.
It wasn't long before he left her crying on the floor, bruised
and he, we don't need a he in there. This is more like it. Let's see what happens here.
The floor, bruised and
oops. Not very good on my part. All right.
on the floor, bruised and beat. Butter and apples.
Interesting.
Butter and apples, a pony to just.
So let's just take this here. You don't really need that there. So let's copy that. Get rid of that section. Go to the next one. We're going to paste this in here. Change that. Let's see if I can spell apples. See if we got it right. Okay, we see it actually the line starts back here. We put it into this box, so we can drag that back here. So now it starts in the right place.
Butter and apples, a pony to justify his temper and prove that he could make amends. She named that pony Courage. Courage was her one best friend.
And essentially, you'll go through the whole song doing this process. Anytime you want to change something, you can change it in the box. You can take parts. If you don't want it broken up, you can put it all into one. If you want to take a longer line and split it into different lines, you can do that. Let's just try that.
She took to slipping in the bar, so she.
Yep. And that's another wrong word. Barn. Let's go on here.
Didn't feel so alone, but she couldn't escape this deep.
If we wanted to, we could split this line from, well, she couldn't escape, and then go to his demons when. So basically you go somewhere in the middle at this point, turn on the blade tool and cut it in half. Go to the first line. Well, he couldn't escape. We'll take out demons. We'll just cut them out. Command X. And then go to the next line. And wait, since we have the same lyrics here, we can just now delete this part. So we have now.
But she couldn't escape his demons when he'd bring the whiskey home. But she couldn't escape his demons when he'd bring the whiskey. But she couldn't escape his demons.
I would actually like to see when on the next line, so just get rid of it here. We could have cut it and pasted it, but I'll just type it. Depends how you're comfortable working. And let's see how this.
But she couldn't escape his demons when he'd bring the
And then the when should come a little bit earlier.
demons.
Let's bring it to there. So let's see.
But she couldn't escape his demons when he'd bring the whiskey home.
Like that. So we're done there. And we can, like I said, we can continue on. You can cut you can cut these boxes. You can move the text around till you're happy. You can time it like we just did, dragging things backwards and forwards by the end. I like to have the lyrics go off when there's maybe just a musical interlude.
Whiskey home. When she's
And we want to start that a little earlier and add in a when. That's back in there. Let's see that.
when she swelled with a baby in her belly, while she fell upon her knees to pray, she had to get away.
That's beautiful. Some of those words are kind of not very clear, but the program picked it up pretty well. It's looking at the whole lyric and kind of making some assumptions. And like I say, sometimes they're not right. All right. Now we're going to assume we've gone through the whole song, got things lyrically correct. And let's do a little bit of customization on our lyrics. We want them to be a little bigger, maybe a little more interesting. So in order for you to have all the changes go to all the sections, we have to drag here and select them all so they're all outlined in red. If you just do one, you're only going to be changing one line. So I like to do everything at once for this process. So select them all. And then we go up to this little window over here on the right. And there's caption is where we were typing things in lyrically, and track is where we're going to be changing our information. First of all, you have the font that you use. You can select any font, and as you drag down, it will change on the screen as to which font you have. Let's do something funny. Let's see, or different. We'll use that one. You choose regular. Okay, there's only regular for this one. It might say bold. It might say italic. So depending on the font you're using, you might have another choice for the type of font. And color, well, for now, white will work because we're dealing with black. But it may not. Let's leave it white for the moment. Next thing is size. So first of all, I'm going to find a long line here. There. That's a fairly long line. Let's now... let's again select them again, and we're looking at this line here, and we're going to change the size over here in this window again, size, and that will change the size. This is changing every lyric in the song and get it fairly close to the edges. You don't want to get too close. Here's a mistake. I'll go back later and fix that. And you can go back and forth between fixing lyrics and doing the customization of the font as you feel like. So let's make it bigger. Now with some songs, you may want two lines to get the font bigger, depending on how big you want your lyrics to show up. This would be fine for me, but you could go back and split some of these lines into two lines, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But this is good enough. We found out we can fit a fair amount onto the page, and at this point we'll go through and check, see if anything falls off the page. See, and they're all fairly short lines. that fit in here nicely. I'd like a bigger font in general. So let's go back to this one, which is, that's wrong too, but we'll pretend like it's right. Let's go back over to the caption here for this line only, and let's just add a return, and now we've got 2 lines. Makes it shorter. It gives us a little more room, and I think there was one other long line. Let's go look at that. Let's do that one too. You just kind of pick where you want to break them up. That looks good enough for now. This is making them shorter so I can make a bigger font. Oh, this is the one I wanted to move. Boy, I don't spell very well, do I? But that's why you can edit to your heart's content. Again, you have to kind of decide where you want to break it. I'm going to do this. Okay, that looks good. So now we've got pretty much all of them fairly short, which will allow us now to go back to track, go to the size, and bring it up bigger. Again, this is if you want to do that. That's good. What I don't like is this font because it's kind of thin. I like fonts that have a little more body to them. These are pretty straightforward. That's different, but all the letters are fairly thick, because what we're going to do here is change the color. Go over to this 3rd line down over here under character, and it says color, and you select that. I'm going to do a yellow. Yellow is a good color, stands out pretty much anywhere. Let's see. Now, since we've done 2 lines, this is a default space between the 2 lines. You can change that over here where it says line spacing. Make them closer or further away depending on your own taste. Yeah, it looks good to me. And right now the alignment is center. I mean, if for some reason you wanted it to be left justified, you sure could, but I leave it centered. And there's as you scroll down on this window scrolls up and down. There's a lot of stuff in here. Don't think this is all you get. You can go down, and we can do kerning, which is between letters. If you want your letters further apart, you could do that. Just make it readable, make it something comfortable for your eyes. All right, we'll leave that there. Sometimes I like, depending on what we put on the background, we might want to put a stroke. What a stroke is we'll just use default white, but I like black for my stroke. And you can then, so when we put it on a colored background, sometimes it helps separate it from the background if you put a stroke, but we don't know yet, so we're just going to leave it turned off. We'll come back to that once we get something in the video part. The other thing now is you scrolling down to transform. This is where the lyrics sit on your video. Let me do this. For this video, we're going to use the CD cover. So I'm going to go back to my Finder and look for the cover and drag it right down here onto video 1. This is a video 1 track. You can put it wherever you want it, as long as it's underneath the text. So we'll go here, and when you bring in any kind of graphic, it'll default to 5 seconds, and I think but you can drag it out pretty much to wherever you want. It's longer or shorter. I just put it the full length of the song. So now we have our cover, and what we're going to do is, for some videos, here at the bottom is a perfect place, but I actually thought about this one, and I would like it higher. So if you go down to transform, position, X and Y. X is left and right. Y is up and down. So let me move this up here. Since this isn't going to change, you can sit up here. Now, obviously, yellow doesn't work too well in this because the colors are pretty similar to what I had before. So I'm going to go back up here to color. Let's find a better color. Nice thing about the color tab is you can go around here and select. Let's see, we can just try some here. Greens. Nothing is totally jumping off the redder. And where you just click around on this color wheel and do that. You can also choose it a couple different ways. You can just go up here to the colored pencils and click on the colored pencils till you find one you like. Okay, for now I'm going to go with white and go back here to stroke. If you accidentally click on the word stroke or any of these, it closes up this window. So if you close it up by accident, which I do a lot, you can click back on it and open back up. So let me put it. It still doesn't look very good. And this is where you have to play around sometimes. I'm just going to bite the bullet and go with something a little bit more a fatter font so it's readable. You can get too fancy with your fonts and have them unreadable. Then I go back to my stroke, give a little more stroke. Oh, that's helping. So I'm using white, which kind of wasn't the best color by itself, but with a stroke, now it's separating it a little bit from the background. I like that much better. Okay.
Butter and apple is a phony to justify.
So, okay, we've now got, oops, there's a line that's too long that I probably want to break up. So we go back to caption here. Break it there. There we go, a little bit better. And there's another one that's now not looking too good. And as you change fonts, you're going to find that lines will get too long. You might have to scroll through again and fix that. And that's, again, sleeping. And we would probably want to move this into the next line. I'm not going to bother right now. But this kind of stuff you do to your own taste. I try to do it to the way the phrasing of the vocal is. And so it reads like it's being sung. And that's, again, just going through. Sometimes it takes a few times going back and forth and watching it and saying, I would rather have just so much information on the screen at one time and not have too much. Or I might put a few more words in there so a line reads better. So again, you just do this to your heart's content. And now you've got your now you've got your lyrics in, and let's say we're happy with all the timings. The look is good. I don't know if there's anything else here that we really need to look at. In this page, let me select everything again. I want to make sure I have all the different sections changed together. So we had moved position up and down here with the y-axis. The other thing you can do here, if you're if you don't want to do a, if overall it seems too big or too small with the font, you can go here to zoom and reset the whole thing. This is one place to do it. You can also do it back in the caption area, but since we're here working, this seems like a good way to do it. Either way works, but I like to do here when I'm doing editing. And I like that a little better. It's not taking up too much of this the screen space. You have some other editing things. You could, instead of putting a stroke, let's turn the stroke off. See how it changes it when you take it off. You could turn on the drop shadow. And turning things on and off is that little button there. It gets red when it's on. And we got black. Offset it. You can, that's a drop shadow. It's a little bit too blurry for me, so we'll go to the blur and tighten that up a little. Well, that looks nice. I like that. And you can, so if you like it blurred, you could do more or less, and you can also make it, you're making the opacity of that drop shadow more or less. So if you really want it to pop out, you're going to want it pretty high opacity and not too much blur, and then it'll make it pop out cleanly. I'll go with a drop shadow now. Background is, if you have so many colors and you can't decide how to make it pop correctly, you could put a background behind the actual lyric, and then with that change the color. And okay, and you can, their opacity, so you could have it just completely not see-through, and or you can vary the opacity. So just find something that works. Okay, we could use that. I guess they let you put a stroke on that if you felt like it. I think I'll leave it normal. They have a corner radius. You can make these a little bit rounder, and if you do that, then you have to do the size. Let's see. There we go. Height, make the width a little bit less. So you can do something a little more interesting if you felt like it. And that's the thing. We changed the corner radius. We had to turn on override sizing because otherwise they just fit it to how much space the lyrics are taking up. And that is pretty much the things you can do to affect how the lyrics sit on the screen, how they're showing up, their colors, their background. I'm pretty happy. Now, for a lot of videos, you want to have some movement. You know, it's people like to have some movement in their video. Lyrics might be enough, but sometimes you want something going on in the background. For a lyric video, I don't like too much movement. It gets distracting from the lyrics. So slow motion video works really well, but movement also works really well. So you can actually change the movement. Or in this case, it's a simple video. We're not going to get crazy, so let's do something simple. We want this to zoom in on these lyrics. See, we have to fix that. You know what? I'm going to go back. I don't really care for these things. Background. So let's go back up, select all of our lyric pieces, and background, turn that off. Now it's turned off everywhere. I like that much better. So let's start with this. Let's go back. Now what I want to do is have the video push in on this horse throughout the song. That'll give us a little bit of movement without doing much work. It's a simple way to make things move, but not too much. So let's see. So what we're going to want to do is do zoom and position. So what I'm doing is I will drag the timeline cursor to the beginning of the video. If you've got an extended keyboard, you could hit home and it would go back to the beginning. And when I go there, I want to go up to transform. Now we're in the video track, and they have a few different settings, a little different than what was in this lyric track. So we want to be on video. That should be highlighted. Transform is where you're going to do most of your work. So we want to zoom it. So we want it to zoom from here to close up. So to do that, we have to start by adding a keyframe. Just click on these little diamonds here. And I do zoom and position because as you zoom in, you're going to want to have the image resize. So, okay, we're starting. That's how, this is where we want to start, full out. Let's go to the end. And here at the end, we're going to stop moving. So let's zoom in. Okay, see, this is why we do position. Now that I've got is zoomed in, let's say where I want it, I can reframe her on the horse, higher or lower. So you could do that. That looks kind of interesting. So what's going to happen is we're going to zoom in and out. So as we play it, it's going to go very slowly. In fact, let me. And it'll keep zooming slowly like that until we get to the end.
You've got the spirit of the west wind on your side.
Okay, now for you that might be a little too slow, there is no way to just speed it up without changing how much you zoom in. The speed depends on how much you're zooming in. But let's say I wanted to go a little faster. That means we have to zoom more. So don't start grabbing the zoom or position yet. You have to go to the last keyframe. If you look here, there's our diamonds, and there's a left and right arrow. Left will take you to any keyframes that are before it. Right will take you to the next keyframe after this. So if I click that, you notice that disappears. It means I'm at the last keyframe. There's no more keyframes for me to go to. So let's do that. Let's zoom in even more. Why not? We'll just make her full up. And turn the music down so we don't have to hear as much. And let's see how fast it moves. Again.
Now there's a pretty little girl on the back of a spotted mare.
So that works for me. It's not, you don't want it to be distracting unless you have something that's interesting going on in the background. This will work just fine. And so now we've got a video that's got lyrics. The lyrics are playing or showing up in time to the vocal. We have a look for our font with a drop frame. We've got the right font. I would do another pass and get all these words correct. There's still a lot of mistakes in here, or just miss transcribing, that's kind of what you're going to end up doing. You're going to be pushing in. Okay. Now we like this. Everything, let's say everything is correct. We've pretty much arrived at the point where we can now turn this into a video that we can upload wherever we want. So to do that, you go to the beginning of the video, press the I key, go to the end of the video and press the O key. So in, out. And we've selected the full video. If no in and out were set, when you output this, it would go to the length of the video. If for some reason you had an in here and an out there, all you're getting is from here to here. So you either need to have the full length that you want set, or have nothing up here in this bar, and you will output the full length of the video. So if you haven't set an in and out, you can just output it the way it is. It'll go to the end of the last piece of video or audio, and that's that. If you have a piece of this in and out, you're going to want to make sure you get them set to the full length of the video, left to right. Okay, we're ready to go. What we want to do is go down here to the Deliver tab. It says Deliver. Click on that. Okay, now we're in the Deliver tab. This is where things get interesting. And if you're not used to working in a program like this, there's a lot here to take in. On this page, in the left side, this is all the information you have to set to get the right video. Easiest thing to do is press H264 Master. This will get you a video that will work for YouTube, Facebook, most places. It's the best format for outputting. It's not too big. Most computers can handle it. And unless you have some other specific needs, you want to hit that as your preset. Give your file a name. And if you're going to upload to YouTube, put all your information in here. Well, actually not right here, but you're going to want to put all the information in the name here and down below. So you put the name of the song, the artist. You're going to want this in your file name for when you upload to YouTube, because YouTube likes to use the original file name. If you put in video 1, upload it, and then change it in YouTube to have the right names in it, YouTube is going to always refer to video 1, and it won't know what it is. So you put in the information before you upload when you're making the file. So we put in some information here. Now it wants to know where to output this file to. I like to make it easy, so I have a render folder in my video drive. But for right now, I'm just going to go to the desktop. Let's see where that is. Desktop. If I want to be smart, I do a folder, because otherwise I'm not going to find this on my desktop. So I'll put this renders, and that's where it's going to go. And no matter where I'm outputting to, which drive or which folder, I always have a renders folder in there. So it differentiates between all that content that you're putting into the edit, and this is the ones we're going to want to upload. So we're going to save that. Okay, we can pretty much then skip all this. It's going to have the preset we chose, H264, has the settings that we've been looking at and we've been working with. So it knows what the timeline was set at, and it's making a video that will correspond to that. Before you add the project to the render queue, there's one more important setting you need to deal with. Now scroll down here on this window, and right here at the bottom there's an export subtitle section. You need to enable that, like that. And then you need the format as burn into video. This is very important. You don't want an embedded caption as embedded captions. You want burn into video. Okay, now you're ready to render. So then we add it to the render queue. Press that button. And then we go over to the right here, and this is your render queue where jobs are added. So this is job 1. Now, let's say we had worked on several videos. We have 3 videos, let's say, 3 different songs. We could go and add each one of these. We go back to the timeline, choose a new video, click on deliver, come back in here, click on this, change our name, add to the render queue, and it would add another song here. And you can output several songs in one go, but we're only working on one. So this is as much as we need to do. Our settings are correct here because we chose a preset that we know will work. We put in the information we want to. We've set a destination, and we've added that job over here, and then we render it. And there it goes. This can take pretty quick or pretty fast depending on your computer. On my computer, it's doing 74 frames a second, which is about double speed. So that's good. So we'll let this go. Okay, that render took a little over a minute. It says 1:33, so I think it just did about double time. So at this point, your video is now on your desktop in the folder render for me, and I can upload it to whichever site I want to, whether it's YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, you name it, you can do it. So that pretty much covers the basic start to finish to make a video. You can do this and then upload it anywhere. 90% of my videos are going to go to YouTube. And wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to have this directly go to YouTube? And those fine folks at Blackmagic Design have thought about that, and they give you the option to do that. It's located down here. It's called YouTube Settings. Now, in order to use this, you have to set up a connection between DaVinci Resolve and your YouTube account, which you have to do in another page, and I'll show you in a minute. But once you have that set up, you just open up this window, click Upload directly to YouTube. I just copy the title from up here and paste it in here, or if you want to put a custom title, like the exact title you want it to be on YouTube, you can put it here. You can put a description like where this can be found, how you can buy it, anything you want, who played on it. It's your basic YouTube video description. You can upload a thumbnail. So if your thumbnail's already designed and ready to go, you can click on that and basically decide where you want to put a thumbnail from. Pick a JPEG that's the size of your frame and upload it. Or you can do that later once you get to YouTube. I usually don't do it here. When it gets to YouTube, you want to set its visibility, private, public, or unlisted. We either do private or unlisted, and then fill out the rest of the information in the YouTube app, and then make it public. So I'm going to make it unlisted for now. A category is good, especially if you're in music. You want it to YouTube to know that it's a music video, so you can do that here. Choose music. And that is it. If you are connected to YouTube with this program, it will render the video, put a copy on our desktop in the render folder, and then when it's finished doing that, it will start uploading directly to YouTube where you can then go in and further refine the settings and release it when you're ready. So we won't do that now, but it's just the same: add to render queue, render all, and then it'll do 2 steps: render the video, upload the video. Now let's go over and look at how we get this connected. We really like this option in DaVinci Resolve, letting you directly connect to an upload site. So to do that, we're going back here to one of our main pages. I think you might be able to do it from any page, but the idea is you go up to the DaVinci Resolve in the menu bar, select that, and then drop down here and do Preferences. You go to Internet Accounts, which is in the main window. You just scroll down, pick Internet Accounts, and you choose a place for it to upload to. I always use YouTube. It's the only thing I really upload to. So I click on that sign in here, and it will run you through the process of connecting to your YouTube account. So you'll need to know your sign in information, your username and password, and that will be all you need to get to that. You can also do Vimeo, TikTok, Dropbox if you want to send this to Dropbox for a client to look at, or another band member or whatever, or Frame.io. Like I say, I use YouTube and it's signed in, so you just put in the information they ask you and you're linked, and you just do the process I showed you previously, and it will render your video and upload directly to YouTube. At that point, you don't need to have YouTube opened while this is happening. When you're finished, you go into your browser, go to YouTube, and go to your studio page, and then you'll see the video there. So once you've done that, you can go in and edit the description, edit the visibility, add tags, a lot of things like that, add it to playlists. So that's basically how you do a lyric video and how you get it onto YouTube in pretty much one fell swoop right from within DaVinci Resolve. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe, hit the bell button so you're notified whenever we have new videos. And thanks for watching.